We saw some incredible scenes unfolding in Bontehuewel yesterday. We saw there was one incident of who looked like quite an elderly man being manhandled by 6 or 7 police officers. What is the situation in that community today?
A lot more calmer today, Michelle. You have various stakeholders that are hoping to speak with the Minister of Police, who literally just made his way from Parliament. He's now on his way to Bontehuewel, where we are. And like I said, various stakeholders just standing by and hoping to speak with the Minister following those violent scenes which broke out on Jakes Gelver Drive close to Bontehuewel, where the residents were calling on a shutdown, saying that they've had enough with gang violence, with poverty, which directly affects the level of gangsterism within their communities, unemployment and crime. Now, around us, Michelle, like I said, is various stakeholders. I've seen the NPA here, I'm seeing CPF members, I'm seeing community members, as well as the City of Cape Town. Talking about the City of Cape Town, they will also be part of that meeting with the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele. And in fact, right now I'm joined by JP Smith from the City of Cape Town. Now, JP, you are going to be part of that meeting with the Minister. What are you hoping to achieve in that meeting, and what are you hoping to discuss? Because we know at the core of this is the anger and the plight of gangsterism in not just Bontehuewel, because yesterday more than 10 communities were engaged in that shutdown.
Absolutely. So I think today what we're looking for is to strengthen SAPS's hand. We have a major problem with a significant lack of staff. So while the city is pushing 66 million rand into policing staff this year, SAPS is removing staff, and on their long-term budget they will be cutting staff numbers even more. So for communities like this, that's untenable. So today I want to be here for the sake of accountability. It's important that we're accountable and that we engage. But I'm also hoping for some role clarification, that people understand who is responsible for what, because there is some misinformation where the city is often and province is blamed for how SAPS is managed, and we don't have control over SAPS. So I am hoping that we can get to some of the facts and figures, that people can understand who is responsible for what, who is responsible for the public order policing decisions that got made yesterday, and that we can start getting to the point where people understand that staffing numbers are really having an impact on them, because we would like to see those numbers improve dramatically. In the rest of South Africa, there is 1 police officer for every 369 members of the public. In Cape Town, we're sitting with around 1 for every 560. That's a crisis. You're not going to win back your streets if you are so under-resourced. And so we have...
Then how does the city help? Because they did admit during their release of the crime stats a couple of weeks ago that they are short-staffed and they're running short on resources as well. What is the city's, impact in trying to alleviate the pressure of South African police? Because we have received complaints from residents in Bontehuewel and many other communities that the city doesn't really help when it comes to incidents of gangsterism when they do report them.
Well, I will remind you that when I became ACA member under the previous ANC administration, they didn't touch gangsterism. They didn't believe it was even the city's competency. Since then, we've really stepped up to that plate. The gang unit, sniffer dogs, SIU, we are making arrests for firearms, for drug-related arrests daily. And I think we're batting above our weight range in terms of what we can do, but we have limited numbers and very limited policing powers. We're not SAPS, remember. SAPS have a wide-ranging powers. They've got crime intelligence powers. They've got investigative powers, which we're not allowed to have. And if you're not going to convict gangsters, you're not going to win. Just arresting a gangster and putting him back on the street is never going to solve the problem. You have to be able to get convictions. So simply arrests themselves won't solve the problem. And the city this year now as we speak, we're recruiting 66 million rands worth of extra staff on the budget. So we're putting our money where our mouth is. We're recruiting additional staff. But we will also have to get that High Court mandamus against national government to force them to improve the SAPS numbers, so that SAPS can offer effective protection to communities like this, because we sympathize tremendously with their plight.
Talking about accountability and your presence today, what are you here and hoping to say to the residents of Bontehuewel and many others that are here?
So I think that they will come up with ideas and proposals that we can embrace. We're hoping that the conversation remains constructive. And if they have productive solutions, then we will embrace those. We have, out of these meetings, often found very useful ideas. and of course also to open the channels for communication, because the community sits with a lot of useful crime intelligence. A big part of the failure to effectively deal with gangsterism is crime intelligence. We do not have well-functioning crime intelligence systems left in policing. It's not a local competency, but where we get intel, we can take that intel and effect. So Metro Police's gang unit can go do raid zone. I get personally 3-4 tip-offs a day, Metro Police about 28 a week, and we look forward to more of this. So this kind of conversation allows people to know who to send that intel to so we can act on it. We have in this community, I have had a tip-off in Bontehuewel itself, where within an hour and a half of the tip-off we were able to find an assault rifle hidden in an electrical box because of a tip-off with the Metro Police gang unit. So we'll do absolutely what we can, and we'll work with the community as far as possible.
Working with the community as well as the South African Police Services. That is the assurance given by the city's JP Smith here, hoping to engage with the Minister of Police, who will be joined by residents from Bontehuewel and many other communities. Because remember, Michelle, that shutdown that took place yesterday was not only in Bontehuewel, it was in many other communities which are also facing the same challenges that residents here are facing.